Okay, so I wanted to come out here. I changed the scope out. This is my, I'm gonna talk about that later, but so this is what I've been shooting off of. Have my gun in this bog. I don't remember the name of this thing, but it's a little gripper tripod. And I was just setting my elbow up there on it so I could get as secure as possible, because I'm shooting about 110 yards. I just kind of got roughly, and then I shot it with my rangefinder close enough. So I'm just trying out ammo that I had. Everywhere sold out of 223, so it's tough to get, but this is what I had. I put this scope back on here because it's a 3-9. I'm fixing to do some coyote calling here and at our farm in East Texas, but and I'm going to shoot off of this. That's important. While I'm hunting, I'm going to shorten these legs down and sit on the ground so I can get a good rest like that. But this is a Thompson Center Venture Predator. I think that's what it's called. It's got a 22-inch light pencil barrel, and this is a 3x9 scope that was on here. I had a 6-18 Nikon on here, and that's what I was shooting just to see what ammo grouped the best. And I was shooting this stuff pretty good. This is just bulk Federal 50 grain jacketed hollow point. And when I get home, I'm gonna measure these groups, and I'm gonna when I measure them, I may pull some of the bullets. If that's safe, I'm gonna Google it and find out how safe it is to pull a bullet, because I wanna see which of these bullets are boat tail or flat based or whatever. But I'll do some measuring when I get home and get all my stuff. But what I shot today basically was Federal. This comes in a 200 round value pack, 50 grain jacketed hollow point. This is probably next to impossible to find. This is Varmint Express 40 grain VMAX. That's old. This is 15 years old probably. Some Winchester white box, the 45 grain jacketed hollow point. I have a suspicion that this is the same as the white box, this American Eagle. These came in 50 packs of loose, but they've done something to the primer, so I don't know. I wanted to shoot them just to make sure, and they didn't shoot as good as these. These have something on the primer, but same 50 grain jacketed hollow point. And then these, I don't know how old these are. These are 50 grain ballistic tips. It says AR 223. I don't know if this is something they came out with when the AR craze was going on, but I had some of them. I think I've got some more somewhere, because these shot good in one of my AR-15s. That'll be another video. I need to shoot my Ruger 18-inch. I've got a Ruger Varmint Precision AR, or what do they call it when I got it? I don't know. It's got a little bit heavier barrel, a little bit longer barrel, like designated marksman setup or something like that, you know. But so wouldn't you know, this stuff shot almost a clover leaf. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find some of this. Luckily, the one that I had the most of this shot these groups right here. These were 2 in one hole and one out, 2 in hole and one out, but those were at 50 yards, and then it opened up at 100 yards. And also I was moving my scope right here. The 50 grain AR stuff shot pretty good. The Winchester white box shot pretty good. This was that other Federal with the blue primer, and I don't know what's going on here. Maybe that was supposed to be tighter in, but it kind of shot in the same area, about 10 o'clock on the bullseye. So, but I mean, the good thing is that I'm gonna be able to shoot this until I run out of it. And then I'm gonna be able to just switch over to this that I have a lot of. So I kind of was sighting the gun in to shoot the whites, this stuff right here. And it just turned out I'm gonna be able to shoot the Winchester and the 40 grain VMAX. But this is what I'm gonna hunt with for now. I mean, with a 3x9 cheap scope, I mean, I don't know who makes these scopes for. I wanted it back on here because it's camo. And when I'm coyote hunting, I'll have a face mask, everything on. I want to try to be as camouflaged as possible. But I'll when I get back home, I'll measure them, and I'll just put for y'all's information some size groups, and then I'm gonna try to pull these bullets out and see, or I may see if I can Google reloading information that has pictures of these bullets out of there, so I don't have to do it and risk, blowing myself up. But anyways, I'll check back with you whenever I get home. Look at this. As I'm out here shooting, have my target set up, shooting down here into this wood line that goes to nothing. But look at this. This is why I'm out here shooting. Coyotes, they're everywhere. So I'm had a chance to get back to my house. It's the next day, obviously, and do some measuring, do some kind of figuring on these. One thing I didn't have was a chronograph. That's something I need to get whenever I get more serious about, shooting some 22 long rifle stuff and obviously reloading or looking at different factory ammo that's going to be the most accurate out of some of my bolt guns. But I took this scope off of the rifle. I think I mentioned that earlier. I put this scope on as soon as I got the gun. I got rid of the scope bases and I mounted these D&Z. The gun's empty. I mounted these D&Z one-piece base because I like it. It's very stable, and I'm not worried. There's a lot less moving parts in it, is what I'm saying. But so this came on it. When these guns came out, this gun is from like 2013, I think. I didn't buy it until before COVID. I didn't buy it till 2019 or something. I mean, it's 6 or 7 years old. I bought it used. The guy that I bought it from, I mean, it had never been fired. It was, I don't know if it was like dead stock or it was, the guy owns a gun store, and it just had never been, it was on the shelf, and it was, other later greater calibers came out and everybody went crazy. But this is a 223, 1 in 12 twist, 22-inch barrel. It's a pencil barrel. But I'd always heard that these Thompson Center rifles were accurate. It's got plastic bottom metal and stuff. It's got a nice clip, but it's not, I mean, it's a budget rifle, I would say, There's not a lot of upgrades you can do to it. It's like a Remington 700 where you can just upgrade all kinds of stuff. But anyways, I just wanted it for one thing: light, walking around, coyote calling, coyote hunting, predator stuff. That's all I wanted it for. So anyways, I've been trying to find out what it would shoot good. So I kind of shot it when I had this other scope on it to find the ammo. I wanted a 6 to 18 power scope when I was trying to find out really and truly what would shoot. Because with a 9 power scope, it's hard to tell sometimes what you're getting, what's the rifle and what's the shooter. So I put a big scope on it to sight it in and pick an ammo. And then I went back to this scope for hunting purposes. So that's what the gun, and I showed it. And I was shooting off of a bog. I've got one of those, I don't even remember what it's called now. It's a tripod made by Bog, Death Grip or something maybe. It's got a saddle on top that'll clamp down on it. Kind of like one of those hog saddles or whatever, but it's a lot cheaper version and it weighs a ton. It's not a carbon. It weighs, I don't know what that thing weighs, 15 pounds. But so took this scope off, put that scope on, and then I got to thinking, like, I didn't really shoot everything I had. I shot a bunch of 55 grain stuff and 60 grain V. I shot all that. I didn't shoot any of the 40 grain stuff. And then I was like, man, I ought to shoot some of the really light stuff and some of the. So yesterday, what I shot was, I think I went over this. The Winchester White Box, Hornady 40 grain VMAX, American Eagle 50 grain varmint tip, the Federal bulk pack 50 grain jacketed hollow point, the American Eagle 50 grain jacketed hollow point, this stuff that says Varmint Predator on it. It all shot good. Turns out it shot great. This group right here, this was the Winchester white box, and I measured center to center. This was a 0.88 inches. So at 110 yards, that's sub MOA. And the gun, when I bought it, had a sticker on there that said sub MOA guarantee. So I don't know what would happen if you, I don't know how they would support that claim, but the next one was the 40 grain VMAX, and I knew it. When I was shooting, I couldn't tell that these were in here. I thought I was missing the whole thing or something wild was happening. So walk up there and see that there's two in the same hole and a third touching that. This was a 0.44 inch group, center to center. And I'm erring on the high side. It's probably 0.40. I don't have a micrometer or something like that. I was like, I saw that group and I was like, I haven't seen this ammo on the shelves in a while. There's no way. It'll either be one of two things. It'll be super expensive or it'll be discontinued. Come back, get on the internet, discontinued. So I've got 3/4 of a box left. So that's what I'm going to shoot. And I sighted it in and when I moved my scope, I got it to where that Federal bulk ammo was hitting center. And this is right there. So it's like I don't have to move my scope. I don't have to do anything. It's interchangeable. So I'll just shoot what I have left and then I'll go to that Federal white box. But man, the box lists that ammo at 3,800 feet per second. People online are saying it's more like 3,700 or something like that out of a 24-inch barrel. This being a 22-inch barrel, it's probably still the hottest round out of all these because the Winchester white box was listed online from what I could find at 3,600. So I bet you these feet per second are all measured out of a 24-inch barrel if I had to guess, because they want to look good. They want to give themselves the best representation of velocity. But I'm not as worried about the velocity as I am just the freaking accuracy. The next one I shot was this one right here. This is the 50 grain varmint tip. Shot a 0.63 inch group. It's listed online. I couldn't find a feet per second on it online. I couldn't find where it was showing that this was, but it's also discontinued. They don't make it anymore either. 0.63 group on that one. The next one, the Federal bulk. These two groups were 3-shot groups, but those don't count. Those were at 50 yards. I was getting it after I bore sighted it. I wanted to get it on paper. So I moved it, then I moved it again and shot this group. So that was actually a 0.69 inch group, which I'm happy with that. Off of tripod, windy. This wasn't sandbags on a bench or nothing like that. It was like windy, shooting down into the woods down the lease road at my deer lease. So I was happy with that, and I had the most of that as I do of anything. And the American Eagle in this box is eerily similar. So I was wondering if it was the same thing, but there's a primer. They coated the primer pocket with something blue on these. So, and the other one doesn't have the primer pocket coated. So I don't know what that's all about. And it did shoot, it shot the same. These are just a little bit left and so were these. I think I pulled this one, but it shot a 1.1 inch group with it. So, but it was in the same spot. Online lists this stuff and the bulk stuff the same feet per second. It's got the same projectile. I'm thinking it's the same ammo, just one of them, I don't, for whatever reason, has that blue primer thing going on. But I was able to find out that those are flat base bullets, the 50 grain JHP. The 40 grain VMAX is a boat tail. The 45 grain Winchester is a flat base, and the 50 grain V-tip for American Eagle, I couldn't figure out who's putting those in there. It's not a red tip bullet, so it's probably not made by Horny. It's black. It might be a Nosler bullet, maybe like the Varmint line, and those are flat base bullets, but I don't know. I really don't. But in summary, I mean, I'm trying to get ready to go and do some coyote calling. It seemed like this year I saw more coyotes than I've ever seen, and I saw fewer fawns than I've ever seen. So I don't normally get fired up about going coyote hunting, but I'm going to get out this year and coyote hunt a little bit more because I hear them, I see them, they're on my cameras more than I've ever seen. And I was just disappointed in the number of young deer and fawns that we had at our deer lease, at our farm, just everywhere in general. It's been miserable this year. So I did not get a deer this year. We can still hunt till the end of February, but the horns are starting to fall off some bucks. So I don't know. I might be done for the year for deer. I was going to try to hunt right up to the bitter end, but I don't want to shoot a buck and then get up to him and his horn falls off the skull plate or something like that. And I'm not going to shoot a doe right now. I mean, there's no point really. So, yeah, man, I can't remember the last deer season I didn't shoot a deer, but this season was pretty bad. And I'm going to take out my frustration a little bit on the coyote population. And they're just getting out of control. We don't do anything to manage them. People are rarely shooting them at our deer lease, and they've just gotten out of control. They're denned up everywhere. We hear big, every evening at sunset, you hear 3 or 4 different groups of them tune up. And so I'm going to do something about it, try to. And if I can get any of it on video, I'll post it up. But basically, I'm going to set out I've got a little electronic caller, and I've got some mouth calls, and just try to hit them with, a couple calls, sequences. I've got a little Twitch decoy thing that you put batteries in, flickers. So if we can I'm not as interested in bobcats, but if we can get a bobcat to come in, we'll definitely not pass one of those up. And mainly though, maybe I can get some coyotes and I'll, if I can, and get the GoPro going or something like that. That'll be pretty cool footage. But anyways, I just wanted to go over a few different ammos I shot, what shot good. I thought it was gonna be a good versus bad. I thought it was gonna be what shot terrible and what shot great. Now I could get some stuff to shoot terrible in it probably. I've got some of this, I've got some 75 grain and some 69 grain match stuff. I've got some 62 grain fusion. I suspect with that gun being a 1 in 12 twist, I could go up in bullet weight until I got some bad funky groups or whatever. But I just wanted to go, and for the shooting that I did yesterday, this is how much I shot it. For the amount that I shot yesterday, I think this one on this one was a flyer. I think this was me right here. I think it was going to put him in there, and that was me, or it's just not consistent ammo. But man, that's all for what I'm doing with a 3x9 scope. That's money to me. I was really I was happy. I was happy with the gun because the trigger is garbage. It's got a bunch of travel and slack, and it's probably about 5 pounds. It is a garbage trigger. There's no bedding, and it's a plastic Tupperware stock. It's I don't know who makes that junky scope, but for what I'm gonna be doing with it, man, I was like super. I couldn't be happier. I think I got the whole shooting match. The gun scope, everything was MSRP was like $500 back in the day. I think I probably paid $500 or $600 for it when I got it, and man, you can't. I could put a competition scope on that thing, and if I could find 40 grain VMAX bullets, I'd be able to do some damage. but that bullet is so light, it gets pushed around out to my nephews shoot a lot, and he was shooting his 22-250, and man, they were ringing steel with that thing just left and right. And he said when they got out to 600 yards, forget about it. The wind was throwing that 50 grain bullet all over the place. So it's like 100, 200, 300 yards, you can do something. Over 300, if there's a breath of breeze, forget about it with these little bitty bullets. So, and that's kind of been my experience in the past too. But anyways, everything I'm going to be doing as far as calling coyotes, it's going to be probably 100 yards or less. And I'm excited to get out there. I'm excited to see what that 40 grain bullet will do to a coyote or a bobcat or something like that. But if I find out, I'll update y'all. So thanks for watching.